think a topic that everyone needs to know about right now is IVF, in vitro fertilization, and human sex trafficking, especially with all this that's going on with the Epstein files. And what that is the first successful surgery started in 1978, and it has to do with making babies using sperm and eggs outside of the body. And who knows why people did this? Maybe uh, says it was originally uh, a something that people did because someone had trouble with fertility. But I mean, there's so many people in the world. Really, who gives a fuck? Maybe it was just people were curious. Uh, can you make babies outside the baby? That's what science is about, exploration. You know, let's make a baby in a petri dish. Let's see if we can make a baby with the eggs from a 2-year-old. Who cares? Uh, um, and put it in a rat. Who knows? Why people created this, uh, but but within a certain amount of time, it was exploited by human sex trafficking, and it is legal, and a lot of people say they you know and I think it's stupid, that you should have babies because it's an accident or because you love someone, or just if you can have babies, like you, you know I, I was always I always really tried hard at school, and I didn't want to have babies, but really but I did have my eggs stolen at one point during college by someone, a man who was older than me, um, and I I don't know if and it's really scary because who knows what people want to do with your eggs or your sperm, especially if they're giant sperm banks. Like, people don't want to just give to these things. They want to give to, you don't have that in your, you know, scientifically in your, you don't just give to egg and sperm banks. For people, you just, you want to, you go through puberty, and you want to be, internally fertilized by a man because you're because you're of something, we call it love, but it's sort of how life works. But the just the old fashioned way. Um, and it's enjoyable to do, uh, but I don't think I I don't I don't think that prostitution should be legal at all. I think it's very evil and wrong, and I think that it's evil and wrong because sex isn't a product, because love is something that you feel with your spirit, that you love other people because you enjoy their personality or their company. And I think that when you have sex with someone, you should you should feel that. And I mean, what if the person you want to have sex with is really fat and ugly or something? And I'm sorry I said that, but it's that's I said that like I said that when I was a little kid because I was just talking to my friends about rap music, about how like, because there's all this gangster rap, and we were all listening to it, and it was just like you know uh uh there's pimps and hoes, and I thought it was awful, like all these pimps and hoes, but you know but I still didn't mind gangster rap to a certain extent. um I I liked classical music a lot. um not classical music, jazz music, really um like classic rock and metal music and rock and roll and hip hop and rap. So I did like it, but I just I was I do not like, if this is legal, they can they can make a fake baby for someone, for a rich person who pays, and have them raise them as a kid, and have them just lick that kid's twat while they're growing up their entire lives and fuck them in high school. I mean, that is just a possible way to get away with breaking the law against statutory rape and pedophilia, and and um and and also uh and it is gross and disgusting. And hopefully uh you know um uh you know and it's amazing because uh the the they say, oh, but there are a lot of ethical ways to, but a lot of people want to have kids this way because it's ethical, like they have one testicle or something, or they had ovarian cancer, or they were on too many steroids, or and they want, you know and something like this, or and uh and you know and that's interesting, like that and it's interesting that you can have a baby and not even go through the pregnancy. But because if you give your baby to a surrogate, if you give your egg to a surrogate, and then that's the surrogate mother. It's not the mother. She just undergoes the pregnancy. The egg, it's the embryo. It just sucks onto her. It's like a parasite. It feeds off of her, but it doesn't. But it's not her DNA. And and So, all this Epstein file stuff, it has to do with and it's interesting that that people would be more willing to accept, uh, you know, medical procedures like this than they are drugs. That they're so afraid of drugs. Ooh, drugs! They're so scary. Like there's ethical ways to use drugs and there's unethical ways to use drugs. Uh, you know, uh, it's like no, there's there's just there's just I mean, you can use drugs medically and you can use drugs to try to make yourself to try to have a good time, but I don't think there's an unethical way to use drugs. I think that you can make a mistake, like you can become an alcoholic and become fat and stupid, and you can puke, you can pass out, uh, and but but I don't think that that's necessarily unethical. I mean, maybe it should say that on a bottle of beer. Warning, may make you fat, smelly, and stupid, but they would sell us beer if they wrote that on the bottle. but 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 they do have to say please use responsibly. But with marijuana, it's the reason why it's so grotesque is because you know they there are people, idiots like Nancy Mace out there, who say, oh well, I think marijuana is exactly like alcohol, and no, it's not. It's an anticonvulsant that was made illegal. So people have hypothesized scientifically that with regular use that it can treat and stop a terrible illness that people get, and it's not like it can cure this disease, but it can help people have an easier time living with a terrible disease that is like which is seizure activity, which people don't understand. And seizures are scary if you've seen them. It's a disability. It's a recognized handicap. I have it, and that's another reason why life is so hard for me. Um, but um, but and why this is also interesting to me. This because because you know because I'm taking all these pills. I've taken over 6 different pills, and they're all drugs. Who cares if cannabis is also a drug? After you've been on drugs since the 7th grade because of your seizures, who cares? It's just another drug. You are these people are racists. They're intolerant, and they're greedy, and they're inhumane, and but oh no, but in vitro fertilization for human sex traffickers who want to lick a 9-year-old twat. That's of course that's legal.